Welcome to Films and Stuff with your hosts, Pete Mitchell and Ethan Hunt.
Hey, Pete, welcome back. How are you today?
I'm great, Ethan. How are you?
I'm great as well. Tell us, what do we have on tap today? Because today we're not doing a movie review. We're not doing a series review. What do we have?
So today, you guys can't see this, but both of us, we're in our very professional suits. We've got our ties on. We are going to be presenting to you with 2021's year-ending numbers for the movies and shows that we watched, and the 2022 quarter one ending numbers, as well as our forecast for the year.
So Pete and I really geeked out actually over these spreadsheets. And how many names do we have on? I've got it open. I can count quickly, but how many names do we have that we've actually watched and reviewed in 2021? Oh, I'm looking at 2022. Let's look at 2021.
We've got 29
30?
shows.
29 titles, right?
Yeah.
29 titles, 18 films, and that would mean 11 shows, huh?
That's right. That we saw, and let's caveat this by saying that both of us saw.
Yes.
Right? There were also episodes and shows that
correct.
Only Ethan saw. There were only some shows and movies that I saw. So
yep.
We're only going to be talking about the shows that we saw jointly.
We should also add another caveat, which is this only started, I guess, in the late part of 2021, right? I mean, when Films and Stuff first launched, right? So I don't think we kept track of anything that we saw prior to October, for example. Did we?
No, we do, but we just remembered them. There's a couple of movies here and there, but we just remembered them, right? That we saw them, and so we gave the scores.
Yeah.
So the way we've looked at it is we've broken it down by the movies and by the shows we've watched. We've assigned a point score for each one of our different rankings. So if it's a movie, the three rankings we have are: you must go to the cinema to watch, that's 5 points; or you wait for it to hit a streaming platform, that's 3 points; or skip it, that's 1 point.
Yep. And
for TV shows, same thing. If it's a must subscribe to the platform for that show, it's 5 points. If it's a mooches someone else's password, it's 3 points. And if it's a skip, 1 point.
How did you feel like you would come out compared to me in terms of rankings? Do you think that you would basically we're saying who enjoyed what we watched more, me or you? What was your going to be your guess before we actually put numbers to these things?
My feeling was that that I would have liked movies in the theaters more than you would have.
Oh.
In a greater, with a greater, let's say, disparity in our scores.
Yeah.
But I think that in terms of streaming platforms, we were much more similarly aligned.
Yeah.
So I think in general last year, and definitely, hopefully this year as well, I tend to be a little bit more forgiving when it comes to, or optimistic when it comes to movies that we see in the cinema.
So can I reveal what our numbers were?
Please, let's do it.
So again, based on the 5-3-1, the average for those 18 films that we've seen, Pete, you gave an average score of 3.7. So that means you're given 3s and 5s pretty consistently.
Yep.
I gave a 3.3, which means I'm more often than not 3s, you know?
Right.
And then I got that totally backwards. That's for television shows.
That's for streaming platforms. That's right.
3.7 for Pete, 3.3 for me. So Pete gave our shows a higher score. And then for Hollywood, this is where things get really wacky. Pete gave 3.1. So you thought kind of everything we saw in the cinema was good. Wait for it to come out. I gave a 2.3, which means I saw a lot of skip-its.
Yeah.
What do you take from that? I've got my observation, but what do you take from that? Anything?
So not particularly, for a couple of reasons. One, first of all, it's not like there was a tremendously huge number of movies.
Not
released,
scientifically valid. Yes.
right? So that's one. Our sample size is quite small.
Yep.
And two, it's also, we are, the one thing about 2021 is that it's for me is the transition period in recent years, right?
Yeah.
Where we're finally kind of leaving behind the pandemic and transitioning back from releasing movies on streaming platforms and video on demand to cinemas exclusively, right? So, and let's give a little bit more color. The way we did this was that if a movie came out in the cinema first before it hit a streaming platform, we consider that movie a quote unquote Hollywood movie, and we don't count that towards a movie that was that goes towards the streaming platform.
That's right.
However, there were a couple of streaming platforms that also released movies. So, for example, Black Widow last year came out on Disney Plus. It was supposed to be a theatrical release, but ended up becoming a streaming release.
I loved it.
And then there were a couple of movies like Don't Look Up and Red Notice,
Netflix.
which were again released as only on Netflix. But for example, Don't Look Up, they're considered movies, right? So for those movies that we think should double count, we have double counted.
Yep.
So for example, Black Widow, last year there were only 3 movies: Black Widow, Don't Look Up, and Red Notice. All 3 of those movies we've included in the tally for quote unquote Hollywood movies, but we've also counted those respectively for Disney and Netflix.
Do you think that there's so many superhero or comic-based movies and TV shows that accounts for some of the disparity between the scores that you and I gave? Because you're generally more familiar with comic books, right? And you're generally more, I think, probably into that genre than I might be, right? How do you feel about that?
Maybe, but then I look at the scores, for example, for Eternals, I gave it a skip and you gave it a wait for streaming. So,
And Black Widow. What happened on Black Widow? I gave it a 5. Widow, you gave it
you gave it a must watch must subscribe or must watch in the cinema.
Yeah.
And I gave it a wait for streaming or mooch someone's password.
That is criminal.
There's some areas where,
that is criminal.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're thinking there.
Yeah. So I think it's not
so that's probably not the reason. Okay.
That's probably not the reason. Yeah, let's put it that way.
Do you think that I think one thing that helps us is if we were just doing 135, it'd be harder to, be objective or, baseline it to anything. Whereas, when we talk about the, must see, wait for it or skip it, I think that at least makes sense that neither one of us is giving grade inflation,
a numerical
right?
grade to it. Yeah, it's a little bit more of a practical thing.
Yeah. So I feel like
the reality is that even though for streaming platforms, I gave an average of 3.7 last year and you gave an average of 3.3, ultimately both of those numbers give you the same thing, which is to say both of us think that you should be, you should be mooching people's passwords for most of the shows that we watched, right? On average.
So I think there's 2 other important metrics to define here for listeners. The first is the number of shows on each platform. So which platform we kind of turn to the most.
Oh yeah.
And the second is the average score per platform, right? I mean, that's really what we're trying to get to for the listeners is. So did you look at these or do you want to guess without looking?
I have seen these, but I can tell you that my opinion was not changed based on these numbers. And in fact, these numbers just reaffirmed. And I think we made this comment a while ago when we first started talking about Apple TV. My gut feeling was Apple TV was going for a quality over quantity, let's say, showcase.
Who was doing that?
Apple TV.
Was quantity over quality?
No, with quality over quantity.
Quality over quantity. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So that was my feeling, was that if we're looking at Apple TV, they were really going to go and say, hey, we're going to hit it out of the park. We're not going to show 400 movies this year, but any, of the 30 movies and shows that we do this year, they're all going to be excellent.
And how'd you feel about, and actually Apple's got a pretty good score from us, right?
Right. So on average for us, we're looking at Apple giving you an average score of, 3.8?
3.8, not bad.
Which is very good, right? In fact, in our scoring, it's the highest only if you exclude Paramount. But the reason we don't include Paramount is because we only saw one show from that.
And HBO Max. HBO Max and Paramount, we only watched one show from each, but you and I consistently gave both of those shows a 5.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
A must subscribe. So
right.
Those two platforms have a perfect score. But again, the sample size is smaller, whereas Apple TV, we watched 4 different shows from that platform.
Right. So I think what is important for you, the listeners, to realize is that what we're going to do is going forward, we're going to say, hey, you need to have at least 2 shows on your platform.
Yeah.
And the simple justification is that, if I'm subscribing to HBO for $180 a year, right? I think, or $120 a year, whatever the number is, and to watch 10 hours of one show, that's less value and less realistic a recommendation than if I'm going to watch something like Apple TV, where I have 4 shows of, let's say 40 hours each, so 160 episodes for the same, 160 hours for the same money.
Yeah.
Right?
So right now in the Apple TV versus Disney Plus battle, Armageddon. And Netflix. Yeah. We show that it's basically Apple TV Plus in the lead, followed by Disney Plus, not so far behind. And then dropping down is Netflix. What caused Netflix to fall? I guess it's Don't Look Up and Red Notice, right?
It might have been Don't Look Up and Red Notice, but I think this is where Netflix for us, or at least for me, gets into a little bit of a dicey situation. So Netflix comes out with 2.7 as their average score, which to me tells me that you are now, you're teetering between mooching someone's password and not even bothering to subscribe.
Yeah, true. And Squid Game. Squid Game was on Netflix as well.
Netflix, yeah. Yeah, so that's a good point. So before we give our year-ending awards, any show of these shows that we've watched, any of them stand out to you, or movies for that matter?
I mean, I think that what we've seen is, this probably goes with our personality, but there's a lot of sci-fi here.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of, I guess Disney is a lot of MCU, right? So if we just go down that list, it's Hawkeye, Loki, WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier. That's 4 Disney, all MCU, right?
Yeah.
Apple, we've got Ted Lasso, which is a feel-good comedy, and I think that's a very unique one. Invasion, sci-fi, scary. For All Mankind, sci-fi. Foundation, deep sci-fi. Squid Game. Okay, now we're turning to Netflix. Squid Game. HBO Max, we had Succession, and then on Paramount, we had Yellowstone, also known as Montana Succession, right?
Right. Or Succession, just New York Yellowstone.
Or we should call it Succession, New York Yellowstone. Funny, we gave those both shows the same score, so we must really like that genre.
Yeah. Or I hope that doesn't say anything about us and our affinity towards sociopaths.
Healthy sociopaths, yeah.
Yeah, so I think
maybe we can do one about the Waltons in Arkansas.
Right.
We'll have.
I think in terms of these shows, probably the show that stuck out to me the most, or the standout show of of 2021, was probably Foundation for me.
I agree.
And for movies, that's a tougher call. Probably.
But I have to say, I loved For All Mankind. I just want to give my shout out for All Mankind because,
of course,
it hit the sci-fi, and also I feel like, Foundation is serious. There's no laughing. There's no cracking a smile. It's deep plot, right? Whereas I thought that, For All Mankind, satisfied my sci-fi itch, with a focus on Apollo missions and space and Soyuz and everything. But at the same time, there's enough kind of like humorous stuff in there that it kept me interested as well.
Right. And in terms of movies, probably, what did I say? Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man was my standout for last year.
I'm going to point out Free Guy. And I point out Free Guy because I think it was so good compared to my expectation that if there was a score for expectation versus my score, Free Guy just far and away blew it away. And then I think my second would be Black Widow, which to me was a blockbuster. It should have been should have been theatrically released. It wasn't. But I thought that Black Widow was the type of movie you go to the cinema excited to see, you walk out, and it met or exceeded your expectations, which isn't always, possible. So if I had to give like sub awards, I would give sub awards to Free Guy, Black Widow, and For All Mankind.
Hey, guess what? It's our show. You can give out all the sub awards you want.
Well, I don't want to water them down and diminish them. But 2021 awards, granted, not based on a full fiscal year, but tell me, Pete, what is our platform of the year? Minimum 2 shows in the small print, in the fine print.
So, based on this data that we have, and using copious amounts of scientific work,
and our proprietary algorithm with machine learning,
we have determined that Apple TV was indeed the streaming platform of the year.
All
and
right.
For 2021 was the one worth subscribing to. Or
Congratulations to Apple TV Plus. Okay.
Indeed,
platform of the year. And I don't know what we give to this, but what is our verdict in terms of stay at home versus go to the cinema?
I think it's relatively clear. It was pretty actually heavily skewed towards staying at home, right?
Yeah.
Streaming platforms on average did way better.
Yeah.
Our average was 3.5.
3.5. Yeah.
Yeah, and Hollywood struck in low at 2.7, even though they had way more opportunities to do much better.
A 3.5 is not so high, but a 2.7 means that you're somewhere between skip it or wait for it. Neither of those two are, just that middle ground between anything less than a 3 is really kind of negative,
ultimately that just, that should say like, look, based on, films and stuff, you don't want to spend money on Hollywood based on something that's less than a 3, right? Or even at 3 because you're waiting for it to come to a streaming platform that you already own.
What's your take on let me look at a 2021 movie that you gave a 5 to. Pete, you gave a 5 to Dune. Okay.
I did. Yeah.
You gave a 5 to Dune. If Dune was available the same time, opening night, and you stream it to your television, if the ticket price was the same, would you watch it at home or would you go to the cinema?
100% cinema. For Dune, cinema. Yeah.
Okay.
It's so we watched Dune together, and remember how first of all
we did. Yeah, that's right. You were in Dubai. Indeed, we did. Yeah,
and it was. First of all, the music stunning. I think it was scored by Michael Giacchino and really, really good. Second of all, there was no way I would have been able to emulate the sound effects and the visual fidelity at home. Like that show had some beautiful
visual fidelity. Well said. Yeah.
So I think it was such a strikingly beautiful movie, and that's got a lot to do with Denis Villeneuve. Like most of his movies are like that. Yeah. So whether you like them or not, I think one of the things that most people can agree to is that you don't have to like Blade Runner 2077 or whatever it was, but you would never be able to recapture the look and feel of 2077 at home that you would at the cinema.
So I think you've got a good point about Dune. That's a little bit of an outlier. What about James Bond, No Time to Die? You gave that a 5 also.
Yeah.
Same price, home or cinema. Are you going to the cinema?
I'm still going to the cinema. Yeah,
Okay.
I think for me anyway, I've always associated James Bond with like a cinematic experience. Yeah. And, it's a lot of action, it's a lot of fun, it's a lot of, different countries that you go to, so you get to be a globe-trotting adventurer. And again, it's fine to watch on your second rewatch at home, but to watch it for the first time, I think you want to do it in the cinema.
Okay. So, shall we turn to... Go ahead.
No, in fact, I'm just looking at the list now. All of the 5s that I gave...
Yeah, you want to see them in the cinema.
I really wanted to see them in the cinema.
Is it correct that apart from the Netflix and Disney Plus movies, all the other ones you actually saw in the cinema, right? Kingsman, Venom, Free Guy, Suicide Squad, F9, Hitman, all those you actually did see in the cinema, right?
Anything that I was able to see in the cinema that's on that list, I saw in the cinema. Yeah.
Got it. Nobody? You saw nobody in the cinema?
No, so nobody I saw on it at the time. I think nobody was. I can't remember now. It must have been. It must have been. Yeah, because it wasn't. I remember seeing it relatively quickly after it came out, and I don't remember seeing it in at home.
Okay, so let's turn to 2022.
Ooh, here we go.
22. I mean, we're still early in the year, so I think it's very difficult to make any predictions or even to make any assumptions. But the films coming out for me is like a who's who of things I want to see, right? Can I just read these out?
Yeah, absolutely.
Top Gun 2, Thor 4, Mobius, which I think is out maybe now, Sonic 2, Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Is that about Elvis Presley?
Nope. That's my main man, Nicolas Cage, starring as Nicolas Cage.
That's right. That's the one where he's hired to hang out with the guy, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Okay, Doctor Strange 2. Yes. Bullet Train. Lightyear. Minions 2. DC League of Pets. Man from Toronto. What's Man from Toronto?
I put that on the list because Kevin Hart's in it.
Oh.
And I thought that you would enjoy that as well.
It's
a comedy.
Love a Kevin Hart movie.
Exactly. So it's a Kevin Hart movie where a case of mistaken identity.
Oh, I'm in. Who is he starring with?
I don't recall. I haven't even seen a trailer. I literally just caught this, but I saw the synopsis and that's it. I thought that was going to be a winner.
You knew that was right up my alley. Hold on. Man from Toronto. I find him so funny.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I think you probably want to revise your projected score.
Woody Harrelson? Ellen Barkin? Now you've got my attention.
There you go.
Although I don't recognize a lot of the other folks. But I'm absolutely in. So I've got to go see that for sure. Okay, continuing on. Man from Toronto. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. This is animated, right?
That is the animated, yeah.
Black Panther 2, of course. Avatar 2, of course. Jurassic World 3. Knives Out 2. Wow, a lot of sequels here. Okay. Then into shows. Sandman. Stranger Things. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Oh, I am itching for that. Moon Knight. Also itching. Secret Invasion. What's Secret Invasion?
It's in the MCU. It's a long story, but we'll get into that as well.
She-Hulk, Ms. Marvel, Mandalorian Season 3. Oh, yeah, I'm in. What If, Ted Lasso Season 3, The After Party. What's The After Party? I feel like that's good.
Yeah, it's been rated. I haven't seen it yet. It just came out, or very recently came out, rather, on Apple TV, and it's also supposed to be doing the rounds as a very good show.
Okay. Rings of Power, Halo, which your good friends at Films and Stuff have already broken down. Tokyo Vice, House of the Dragon. House of the Dragon, not to be confused with House of Gucci, right?
That's right. House of the Dragon is the Game of Thrones prequel.
Why can't they battle the House of Gucci? That would be much. That would, be
that
much
would make
better.
both shows much better. But let's take a step back. Let's talk about
Gucci is not sponsoring Pete.
Let's talk about the shows that we have seen and where we stand in quarter one, and then we'll talk about what we think about what's going to happen for the rest of the year.
Okay. You want me to read them off?
Go for it.
In 2022, the films we have seen and reviewed are The 355, Moonfall, Uncharted, The Batman, The Atom Project. The shows we have reviewed are The Guardians of Justice, Wheel of Time, Book of Boba Fett, Peacemaker, and Winning Time. And I guess now we have to add to that Halo.
Yeah, so I think right now, Winning Time and Halo both have a 0 score, only because we haven't seen the full seasons.
Oh yeah,
but we will transition. We'll transition the scores to make them "quote unquote" current when we finish the shows.
Okay. So what stands out on the list of stuff that we've seen already this year?
So far, probably in terms of TV shows, by default, it's probably The Peacemaker.
Oh, yeah. And not even by default, though. I mean, by default, there's not so many choices, but Peacemaker we both thought was exceptional, right?
Well, I think you thought it was more exceptional than I did. And then...
okay.
Point taken. And then where are we? And then in terms of movies, again, by default,
the Batman.
By far, The Batman, I think, is the best movie so far.
You liked Uncharted as well, though.
I did like Uncharted. Don't get me wrong. I thought that was a very good cinematic thing, but again, between the two of them, I think The Batman has been the standout.
Yeah. I agree. Long movie, though. Okay. I mean, Winning Time and Halo, do you see either of those two kind of making some noise and being one of our, our personal favorites at the end of 2022? How do you think they're going to stack up when this is all said and done?
No, in fact, I don't think they're going to stack up at all. In fact, I think by the end of the year, my feeling is that I'm going to look back on 2022 and say, oh my God, I can't remember. I can't believe we forgot to mention that we watched Winning Time and Halo. I think it's going to fall by the wayside because I think that the Star Wars related shows are going to outpace it. I think Mandalorian season 3, and again, I mean, I have high hopes.
Obi-Wan.
I haven't seen anything, but I think Obi-Wan is going to absolutely knock it out of the park.
I think Winning Time will stay comfortably in the middle of the pack. That when 2022 is over and we're doing our wrap up on New Year's next to Ryan Seacrest when the ball drops in Times Square, I think that we'll say, you know what, Winning Time was pretty good. I remember that. It was time well spent. For me, Halo is the big unknown. Listeners have probably caught this on our prior episode, but we both want this show to succeed, but we're also, based on the first episode, not really optimistic that it's going to get there, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, Halo would be amazing. I mean, if that could easily be, the take the crown for 2022 if it would be good. And I want it to succeed, but based on what I saw in the first episode, it's got a long way to go to reach those standards.
I agree. So, and I think, again, because the number of shows that we've watched is so limited at this point for 2022, that in terms of, if you're looking at the first quarter, the platform of the quarter, I think, is...
Platform of quarter 1, 2022, right?
Yeah, the streaming platform by default.
Yes.
Is going to be, I think it's Netflix, only because they're the only show. It's the only platform that we've watched with 2 different shows.
Yeah.
So again, I wouldn't count it. No, in fact, I take that back. It's not even Netflix. I don't think any of them are. I think it's Hollywood in general. I think going to the cinema has been more of a valuable thing to do than it is to sit at home and watch TV or subscribe to a particular platform.
Yeah.
And I think in terms of for the first quarter, whether you want to go to the cinema or, stay at home, conversely, and maybe counterintuitively, you're better off staying at home if you have access to all the different platforms.
Yeah, like us.
Like we do.
Can I make a suggestion for a new category called Surprise of the Year?
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
And I think the surprise of the year is Travelers on Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you think?
So I think that is probably true, unless there's another show that you and I discover.
Yeah.
So I think one of the things that we should tell everyone, so what we have is outside of shows that we've watched together, Ethan and I also, there are shows that...
Not physically together. That's a different category.
Together as in, that we've both watched. Rather, each have watched. There are also movies and shows that perhaps only Ethan has watched and perhaps only I have watched.
Unilaterally.
And then there are also shows that we've both watched.
Bilaterally.
But aren't current, right? And we call those shows and movies Q filler.
Yeah, we do.
It's the movies and shows that we put onto our watch later list because we haven't seen them before and, we've heard good things about it and because, there's not a new movie or a new TV show to watch every week. So sometimes you have time to kill and you want to spend it watching something good. So, for example, for us in 2022, the first show that qualifies as a Q filler for us would be Travelers. Ethan, you put me onto that show.
I found it. Usually it's the other way around where Pete is discovering content and making the recommendations to me. Occasionally I can pull something out of a hat. I think I did that with Foundations and now I've done it with Travelers. One word shows obviously is my forte. And Travelers is not old. It's 2019, is that right?
Yeah, 18 or 19, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not old, but you can't also say like 2018, 2019 is, I mean, it is what it is, right?
Almost 5 years now.
Yeah, I mean, but I think it ages well. And we both, I mean, I'm super, obsessed with it right away. I love time travel. I like kind of light sci-fi as well with like some drama behind it. And I also like levity. I need to laugh and smile a few times when I watch something. And I thought Travelers hit all those notes for me. It's only 3 seasons, which I think is a tragedy. I wish Netflix would make it for another 3. But I introduced you, Pete, and I think you agreed. Like it's fantastic.
Indeed. In fact, I outpaced
you,
right?
I was like a season and a half ahead and I said, hey, check this out. And like 1 week later, you're like, hey, I'm done. Let's talk about it. I said, wait a second. I'm not there yet, buddy. Hold your horses. Hold your horses.
Episode in the coming weeks, maybe in a week or two.
Much like time travel itself.
Indeed. And we will cover that and we will put that into our rankings somehow or maybe as a separate thing. But it's, I think, in today's day and age, when we've got a lot of time, when, most of us, or at least some of us are working from home or remotely, it's nice to have shows on that are either on in the background or just on your queue list that, you want to watch but you haven't seen before. It could be an old show. So that's why we've created a Q filler category, and we'll definitely cover that.
Yeah. For me, the Q fillers are great as long as they're not intended to be something that like everybody has seen and already talked about, so I kind of know the spoilers. And as long as they're not something intended to be kind of like based around like a current day event, so that when you watch them a few years later, they don't seem like really dated, Like Travelers, for example, it's made in 2018. To be honest, it probably could have been made in 2021 or 2020. I don't think it would
still
really
hold up. Yeah.
It would still hold up, right? It's not like there's all these current references that, are dated or, they're clearly using an iPhone 5, or something where you're immediately just going to, to know, that it's a little bit old. So, I mean, shows like that, and the same thing kind of like for me, it's always the period pieces, like when I go visit my parents, I can watch Vikings. I can watch, there's a Witcher, for example. These aren't shows that I watch like all the time by myself, but I've got them kind of queued up in my parents' Netflix because like Witcher never goes out of, it's never old. I mean, it's already old, right? So, I mean, the same thing with like Vikings or something like that. So I feel like I'm not really like losing anything, but it's easy for me to kind of like pick up where I left off.
Yeah. Yeah. And especially with any time travel show, all the more reason you can kind of watch it anytime because it's almost irrelevant, right?
Yeah. So what are you thinking are going to be some of the trends that we see in 2022? I mean, we've got some good data from 2021. We've already got some trends that are developing for 2022. Do you think this is going to be another stay at home or cinema year?
I think based on just the movies that we have put on our watch list, which is by no means comprehensive, right? There must be movies and shows that we've missed out on. In fact, I know there are.
Yeah.
But based on the movies versus the shows, I actually think it's going to be close. But I think that it's going to be a year that everyone is going to storm to the cinemas. I think cinemas are going to come back in a big way this year.
I agree. Just looking at this, Top Gun 2, Thor 4, Mobius, Doctor Strange 2, okay, Lightyear and Minions for the kids, Black Panther 2, Avatar 2, I'm not sure about Jurassic World 3. Those are 6 or 7 films that are almost kind of must see if you're into that world,
Yeah.
I think the only downside is if I'm looking at Black Panther 2, okay, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Doctor Strange 2, Thor, Mobius, those are all kind of the same franchise.
Right.
So if there starts to be a little bit of fatigue from that, for example, me and you, we'll see all of those.
Yeah.
For some folks, they're like, hey, I saw Black Panther 2. Next month, do I really want to go with my boyfriend and see Doctor Strange 2? Or do I really want to go with Pete or Ethan and go see Thor 4? Man, like I've just kind of seen this thing, So I think for you and me and the tens of millions like us, absolutely those are must-sees. For some other folks, I can see where there's a little bit of like,
yeah, there's definitely potential.
Fatigue, where they're like, look, if I'm going out, I don't go to the cinema every week like you guys do. If I'm going once a month, am I really spending that on the same movie, that I just saw? Or am I interested in going to see Man from Toronto instead? Or do I want to see whatever Bullet Train is, or Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, or, like Knives Out 2, something different, because I've just overwhelmed with, the Marvel stuff.
What's interesting is you raised a really interesting point that I didn't even notice until now, but 11 out of these 16 movies on our list to watch are sequels.
Yeah, that's a little bit biased because we're putting that together, right? So, I mean...
No, of course, but I'm still... But having said that, it's not out of the realm of crazy, right? Like, people are going to be watching these movies in the theater.
I mean, what's your excitement for Jurassic World 3?
Me personally, not at all.
Yeah, I have none.
But that's because I haven't been interested in the
gave it a 3.
World
You gave it a 3,
franchise.
however, I'd point out.
Yeah, because I think Jurassic World is like Jurassic Park. You can't not see it, right?
I give it a 1 because, to be honest, I'm a little bit. I never thought this after seeing the first one, right? 25, 50 years ago, whatever. But like, I'm not sure what else I'm gonna get out of the dinosaurs. They're gonna. I know what's gonna happen. They're gonna escape. We're gonna hunt them. Couple stupid people are gonna get eaten. Eventually, we'll corral them up, right? Like, I'm kind of. I mean, I want to see Chris Pratt do, funny Chris Pratt things. I'm sure
which is why I gave it a 3.
I'm sure there'll be someone very beautiful in it, but just in terms of like the whole saga of more dinosaurs, like, come on, guys, like, let's put some better electric gates on this island, right?
Yeah.
Every 18 months, your gates are going down.
Yeah. I mean, who
Where's
keeps giving
Newman?
these guys
Where's Newman?
hazard
Where's
insurance?
Newman? Yeah. Who keeps insuring these guys? I don't know.
So, yeah. So of these, I think my feeling is that cinema is going to be the way to go. I think people are going to want to go see these movies in the theater. I think that's a little bit of A, the movies coming out are going to warrant that. And B, I think it's also just like, all right, we've all been stuck at home for the last 3 years. I really need to go out and see a movie in the theater versus sitting at home. I think there's that. I still think, however, that streaming platforms are going to put up a good show.
Yeah.
And based on what we've seen or what we're looking at, I'm hopeful that the quality of both Hollywood and streaming platforms goes up, right?
Yeah. But, and here's the thing though, when you look at our spreadsheet, when you look at all the shows together, it looks pretty substantial compared to the cinema, right? But again, you and I are outliers. Not everybody has Netflix, Disney Plus, Apple TV Plus, Amazon Prime, Paramount Plus, and HBO Max. I mean, there's just not that many psychopaths in the world that have those. I bet there's a bunch of people that have 2 and their sister's password for a 3rd, but not all. So when you start to do that, you know, I guess it becomes like a little bit more compelling why some of that cinema stuff is going to be so great, because you just may run out of great content if you've got any 1 or 2 of those platforms, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And you're absolutely right. I think it's, you know, if you look at all the different platforms out there, plus the niche ones.
Yeah.
I mean, just these main platforms, you're looking at, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different platforms. You're probably looking at anywhere from $60 to $150 a month. Yeah. Right? Which, you know, at that point, you are no different than your regular cable provider. Right? I mean, in the era of cord cutting, are we really cutting cords when you're spending the same amount of money either way?
We are not.
We are
hot take. We are not.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I mean, you know, there's also, these are just the streaming services that we're talking about. You know, there's also Peacock, right? The NBC one.
Yeah, that's
there's
right.
Also AMC, right? You know, we talked about this before with La Fortuna, with, who's that guy?
Yeah. Tucci. Stanley Tucci.
The Tooch. And I said, look, sorry, AMC. Even I have my limit as to how many streaming platforms I need, if only because my password management has reached its limit. You know, like I don't think I need AMC. So, I mean, I have to say, like, I don't know who AMC thinks they are, that they're gonna get another subscription out of this. But if you're getting AMC, chances are you don't have a lot of this other stuff where you really like the Tooch.
Yeah, which is really interesting, but I think it's just this wave, right? So, interestingly enough, there's a show in the UK called Taskmaster, okay? And it's like a celebrity game show where, you know, these 5 celebrities compete to do certain, you know, ridiculous tasks, and the winner is crowned at the end of the season, blah, blah, blah. Not a big deal. And it's very successful in the UK and has been syndicated to like other territories. They had 1 season in the US. They had they've got seasons in Sweden, in Portugal, in New Zealand, all these places, right? And all of them have been localized. And so now the show has become so successful, or maybe not so successful, but successful enough that they're actually the first show that's launching a streaming platform only for the show.
What? No way.
Exactly. I think
that's not a platform. That's just a streaming show, right?
It's a streaming show. So, like, you don't have to subscribe to, like, the BBC or Channel 4 or ITV or any of the British channels. You can buy a subscription to the show itself directly at Taskmaster and get access to it.
I would do that.
So, depending on price, that makes sense, right? Because then, again, that's how you escape this problem that you're seeing with La Fortuna. Yeah. I don't know anything about AMC, but I certainly am not going to subscribe to AMC only for La Fortuna, right?
Sorry, Tucci.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but if Tucci came to me and said, "Hey, for $2 a month, you'll get to see," or for, I guess not $2 a month, but like it's the equivalent of.
Yeah.
It's the equivalent, because there's only 6 episodes, so like for the equivalent of like $15 or $20, you can see the whole season. I mean, now you're getting into Amazon territory where you're just renting out a season, right?
Yeah.
I think that's where that's going to happen. I think is ultimately you'll have these platforms, which I guess Amazon already has, which is to say, hey, if you don't want to subscribe to Amazon Prime, no problem. You can still get these shows on a one-by-one basis. You can rent them individually.
Yeah, it's never really cost effective though, right? I mean, you should just go all in. You should just get the all access pass, because I mean, I've done the same thing where I see a show, I'm like, $29 for the show. Like,
yeah, Amazon Prime is $100. I might as well just do that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, maybe that's worth it, but like considering how much other content, and that's one of my problems with La Fortuna on AMC. I saw the pilot for free. It looks like a pretty good show. I have to say, I think I'd be into it, and I think I'd give it a good score. But considering how many other things I already have and how much free content, I mean, not all of it's free, but I mean, subscribed sunk cost content I have, it's really hard for me to justify another platform when I'm already behind on all these other things that I want to see and watch and, catch up on. Exactly. So I think you should bundle with someone, AMC. Bundle, and then I'm in. Because I want to see the show. Yeah. But not that bad.
Not
but I want to see it, but not enough to pay for it.
So Ethan, tell me, what of these movies or shows, what's your most anticipated one?
Top Gun 2. Top Gun 2, which is scaring me. Because like now my expectation and my enthusiasm is like so high because it's been teasing me for 2 years, and I've watched that trailer like 28 times. Now my expectations are so high that I'm worried I'm going to go and like I'm just going to be disappointed. Disappointed that, Maverick's not the same, and I'm missing Goose, and there's no Iceman, and where's Hollywood, and where's Sundowner, and where's Viper, and where's Jester, and where's right? All my call signs. I feel like I'm going to be disappointed. So I'm going to take Top Gun 2 out, even though I want to see that. Then I'll go Doctor Strange 2. And I mean, just like in basketball where there's like a can't miss prospect, I would say for me, I'd be really, really surprised if Doctor Strange falls flat. I think that's going to be, first of all, I think Doctor Strange himself, Benedict Cumberbatch, right? Like, he's super funny and he plays that role so well. There's so many other things going on in that universe, especially after how Spider-Man ended. I feel DS2 is going to be like pretty amazing.
Yeah. So rumors abound. So apparently Patrick Stewart is in the movie as Professor X.
Patrick Stewart?
Yeah. Is coming back to play as Professor X from the X-Men in Doctor Strange 2.
Picard?
Yeah. And are you please tell me you're sitting down, because I have some
I am sitting down.
For you.
I am sitting down.
Guess who else might be making a cameo in Doctor Strange 2?
Nicolas Cage.
No, although that would be, I mean, that would make it instantly
you just
the
erupt. I will not go to any movie with you because I just don't want to see you like blowing kisses to Nicolas Cage on stage. Okay, tell me, what is this news? Who is it?
I have heard that it is going to be none other than Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool in Doctor Strange 2.
No way. No way.
There are rumors that, because he was seen on set with Patrick Stewart, and everyone was like, oh, well, he was just like, well, it's just a coincidence. We were walking through. And then Patrick Stewart came out and said, actually, I make a cameo appearance in Doctor Strange 2. And this could be a huge double bluff, right? It could be him telling us to throw us off the scent, but I don't know.
I don't know.
So there's rumors abound that Deadpool's going to be in Doctor Strange 2.
Wow. That would be amazing. I mean, where are we on X-Men? Maybe we need a separate breakdown one day about the X-Men franchise and like what's happening here, huh?
Yeah. So I think that's why we don't know anything yet, and this is why I think the next couple of months is going to be so. I'm going to be on the edge of my seat.
Can we get a countdown? Should we get like a countdown, like ticker on our website?
On the website, yeah. Seconds until you can see Doctor Strange 2.
Yeah. I feel like that's what it should be, because I feel like this is going to be amazing. And after you told me about this Kevin Hart movie, Man from Toronto, if it was Kevin Hart and The Rock, I would be like camping out now in front of whatever cinema is going to show it first. I know those two have done a lot of collaborations together, so maybe there's no new ground for them to cover, but they really feel, they really, I think, play off each other well.
I don't know. I'm looking forward to almost all of these movies. I think you can see my score is high. My score for Hollywood is high. It's 3.9.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So, which is not insignificant. That means there are very few movies that I want to skip.
Yeah.
And in fact, most of them I want to see, whether it's in the theater or not, I still want to see them. So,
what is, when is Obi-Wan coming out?
So Moon Knight starts this week. It actually, based on at the time of recording, it comes out next week. But by the time the listeners hear this, it should have already started. And I think that
that's a very technically accurate answer, but I'm just kind of laughing because it even confused me. Like, when is it coming out?
I think Obi-Wan is going to come out after Moon Knight. Which would mean that it comes out, so if this is April, May, so it'll come out sometime in June.
Whoa.
Right, which means Obi-Wan's going to be competing with The Boys.
Oh, The Boys are so good.
Which, for example, is one of the shows that I forgot to put on here, but yes.
I mean, when you look at those, and then we recall that first episode of Halo, it becomes even more meh, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Great armor, though. Great armor.
I mean, actually, all the designs have been so far pretty much on point. I really like them. Yeah. I'm intrigued to see where they go with it.
I can't wait. We should have a breakdown of The Boys as well. I'm not sure where else they go from here. I have to remind myself where season 2 ended. Oh, it was a politician, right?
Yeah, it's the politician, and I think they're gonna make it look like what's his name, Huey?
Yeah, Huey.
He's going to run, right? Or he's going to work with the politician? I don't know. There was something like that.
Yes. Where's Homelander? I can't remember what happened to Homelander.
I don't know, but his girlfriend got arrested and put in jail after she got decapitated.
Yeah, that's true.
Or not decapitated, but delimbed.
Yeah, Homelander's son tore her apart, right?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So that'll be interesting.
Indeed it will.
Anyway, so this
is our quarterly report, yeah? So I mean, I think it's good. If anyone wants to message us, we're happy to give a copy of this. Is that correct?
Yep, absolutely.
Are you going to edit that out?
What's your email address again? You can message it. You can email us at aloha@filmsandstuffpodcast.com.
That's right.
You can send us a message on Twitter, F&S Podcast, or where else can they catch us?
We're also on Instagram. I'm spending a lot of effort on this artwork for Twitter and Instagram, so please send me some positive feedback. We'll give you a spreadsheet in exchange. That seems fair.
Perfect. I think that's a great trade-off.
So it is a very good trade-off. Hot deal for a hot take. So those are our Q1 numbers. Let's see where this goes. I think we do this, again in 3 months, which is the end of June. And by that time, some of these things that are coming up, we will have seen. And let's see again, like which platform is in the lead. I mean, right now we're watching kind of an even mix between Netflix, Paramount, Disney Plus, HBO, Amazon Prime. That's probably going to change a little bit, when these other stuffs come out, especially a lot of Disney Plus stuff. So let's see what else is announced and what it looks like. Yeah.
I'm hoping for more shows on more different platforms, because right now everything seems a little Disney Plus and Netflix heavy.
Yeah.
HBO is known. HBO also has some great shows. I'm hoping they're going to release some stuff. And Amazon, the same thing for Amazon right now. I think the only thing on my radar at the moment, without doing much more research, is the new Lord of the Rings show, The Rings of Power. And that too, like it's marred with controversy already. So there's
Why?
much to see there.
Why? What's the controversy?
There's controversy because there's, apparently like Tolkien's estate was supposed to be a part of the creative process. And after someone passed away or some of the rights lapsed, something like that, they immediately fired the person that was in charge of keeping everything in check.
Oh.
And they were just like, okay, we're gonna go out of our way to kind of do our own thing for the show.
So tawdry, huh?
Yeah, and it's kind of
I love drama like this.
Yeah, it's interesting to see. I hope it's nothing serious. Because, and I hope that they don't destroy the show for whatever, political purposes they may or may not have. And that's what they tend to be doing. So we'll see. It's to be determined.
TBD. Pete, pleasure as always. Thank you for walking us through the spreadsheet and going through our 2021 awards and our Q1 2022 awards.
My pleasure, Ethan.
Our first award show. It's our first award show.
That's right.
And we didn't have any screw-ups like the Academy Awards that one year where they give the best film to the wrong film, remember?
Steve Harvey messed up, yeah.
Yeah. So that's positive. Thank you, Pete. Thank you, listeners.
All right, guys. We'll be back soon. Bye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Films and Stuff. If you haven't already, please subscribe and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever podcasts are downloaded. Films and Stuff. There is no substitute.